And this is your Bravo update. We have a couple of Bravo related news that we need to get into, including Nene's new interview with Bethenny Frankel and the things that she has to say about why she's not able to work in Hollywood anymore. We have to talk about Mia Thornton and her divorce, possibly. And we also have to talk about the Real Housewives of New York reunion fashions and the uproar that Jenna effing Lyons has caused. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. It's a rainy day here in New York City, and I am so happy to be back inside because I don't know what's happening outside. The trains in New York City are a mess. The streets, I hope you, if you are in this area, are staying safe. I know I am, but on a perfect wet and rainy day is a perfect time to release some new music. So if you listen to our podcast, Kempire Radio, then you already had the heads up. You already heard a snippet of a new song, not so new, but new to you. It's now available on all streaming platforms. Just look up TheKempire and the song Climax, and you'll get to listen to a demo that I did years ago. But I've been telling you guys about it on the podcast, so now here you have it. All right. Not only that, we have a new episode of the podcast as well. Shades of Nene, it's called, because I listened to part 1 of her interview with Bethenny Frankel, and I had some thoughts. I'll share some more thoughts in just a second. But since we're talking about Bethenny Frankel, let's talk about the Real Housewives of New York reunion looks. Those dropped today, and I completely forgot, but I had posted earlier today because I've seen so many comments on Jenna Lyons' outfit. The fact that she decided to wear jeans and a blazer to the reunion has some of you in an uproar. And I always have to say this, when we talk about the reunion looks, please understand, I know that I'm not a fashionista. I have never claimed to be a fashionista. I am just someone that has an opinion and a platform, and I wanted to share my thoughts. And a lot of you have asked me to share my thoughts on these various reunion looks. The last reunion looks we were talking about was the Real Housewives of Orange County. And some of you said that they've done better. They've definitely done better this time around in comparison to past years. So this time we get to see the reunion looks of all of the ladies. We'll first talk about Jenna Lyons. Jenna Lyons is someone that, look, I've only known of Jenna Lyons peripherally. I've never really been a huge fan. I became a fan after watching her on RHONY. But to learn about her legacy in fashion at J. Crew is something to be applauded. So if Jenna Lyons wants to wear denim or jeans to a reunion and make it look chic, I feel like all of them look very different. All of them have their own personal style. Jenna Lyons, for me, is going to probably set a trend. Don't be surprised if you see in other reunions, people are starting to do a little bit more casual but chic. Because that's exactly what she's giving. She's giving us a little breast. She's giving us a little tie. She's giving us blazer, pulled back hair. She always has really great glasses. I like the look. I'm going to just start with Jenna Lyons. I like the look. I've been applauding the look. A lot of you have shared my sentiments. I literally said Jenna Lyons was always a trailblazer in fashion. It may not be the trailblazer that you guys define as trailblazer, but no, she blazed the trail. And trailblazers do what they want. They don't follow other trends. They make their own. Okay? So I'm going to give Jenna Lyons this look a 10. 10. Come on now. A 10. All right. Let's go to Uba. Uba can wear a paper bag and look good. Let's be honest. I like this look on her. It's not my favorite because she's given us some looks this season. From her confessionals, Uba has given us looks. This is not my favorite look from Uba, but that's like, because I've seen her look so good. So I'm just like, okay, she looks great. You know when someone just looks great all the time and you're like, you sometimes take that for granted. I should not. Let me enjoy what I'm looking at. She looks great. I think she looks put together. She's giving, you know what she's giving us? If you plucked her into the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, she would fit right in. And we know they are top tier when it comes to their reunion fashions. All right. All right, let's go to Aaron. So Aaron decided to give us something like the OC would give us. Or even maybe, I'm trying to think if Ramona has ever given us a short skirt look. You guys will remember in the chat, but this is the short skirt kind of thing we always see in the OC. I think she looks good in it though. I like it. One of the things here, because a lot of you say, why don't they have a theme in some of these other cities? In New York right now, we do not have a theme. We do not have a theme. We have individuality, if that's a theme. Individuality is their theme. All right. So I do like Erin's look. Oh, wait, let me rewind. I forgot to give Uba a rating. I'm going to give Uba a 9. I'm going to give Uba a 9. Yep. Erin, I like, it's not your typical reunion outfit, but look, again, we're celebrating individuality here. I'm going to give her, I actually really do like this. I like her hair and her makeup. It's nothing really special though. When you look at how she's dressed throughout the season, usually this is supposed to be your Super Bowl for the reunion. So you're supposed to really dress it up. So that's why I got to kind of take a couple of points away, but I'm going to give her an 8. I'm going to give her an 8. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Okay. I will go to Jessel. Okay. So a lot of you guys are really, there's a stand-up for Jessel. I like Jessel. I've said to you guys during our recaps, I don't want Jessel to change, but I'm also not like a Jessel stan. You guys are giving, y'all hype up, not y'all, but some people hype up mediocrity way too much. And I'm not saying that she's mediocre, but I also don't think that she's been, oh my God, the most amazing part of RHONY. I feel like they've all carried the show this season and maybe have pulled the show down a little bit this season. All right. But what I can appreciate about Jessel, this is her. Like as soon as I saw it, I said, this is her style. I feel like this is who she is all the time. This is who she's been consistently throughout the season. I like it. I don't love it. And I don't know what I guess maybe because it's so simple, but I do like the color of it. I like her hair and makeup. I like it. It's decent. I'm going to give this, I'm going to give it, I'm not sure if I should even give it an 8. I'm going to give it a 7.5. Just because I'm looking at Erin's look at the same time. And I'm like, I gave her an 8. I wouldn't say it's the same. It's different. Individuality. But I'm leaning on a 7.5, 8 for Jessel. Okay. Let's go to Brynn. So Brynn, some of you love Brynn, some of you hate Brynn. I have a love-hate relationship with Brynn in my head. But Brynn is a beautiful woman. She's actually given us some really beautiful moments throughout the season, from her confessional looks throughout, her actual looks on the show. This is my least favorite look. It's giving Pilgrim. It's giving Puritan, okay? But it works for her. It's like a sexy Puritan. It's a sexy Pilgrim. Maybe I wouldn't mind it as much if it didn't have this weird heart in the middle of it. Her hair and makeup looks great. I mean, it's Brynn. Brynn can wear also a paper bag and probably make it look good. It's probably my least favorite look of everyone on this stage. I'm going to give Brynn a 6.5. Look, a 6.5. I was going to give it a 7, but I'm like, no, it's my least favorite look. Because I feel like we've seen better looks from her. And also because everyone keeps saying that they want to see Brynn find her voice, find who she really is. I feel like this outfit is a perfect example of Brynn's season. She doesn't really know who she is. Okay. And finally, and definitely not least, Sai brought it this time. She brought it this time. I don't know how many looks she had to go through to bring it to this moment, but she brought it this time. I love the color. I love her hair. The makeup looks great. The shoes, the leg, gorgeous. And mind you, I don't feel like there's anything particularly special about this dress, but it works. It works with her skin. It works with her hair. She looks great. She looks like a walking Oscar. She did that. I'm going to give her a 10 as well. The two 10s are standing by each other in the group shot. Andy Cohen looks good too. I don't know what it is. Is it the beard? Here's the thing though, Andy. Look, I can never say anything nice without giving a little. No, this is a critique because you have the money for it. Hair, makeup too. He's wearing makeup. You're on TV. The beard, great. I think he looks good. I even like the black suit. What I wish for Andy, and he could learn a thing or two from Neil Patrick Harris, Why don't you get your suits fitted? He has a great body. And even if you don't have a great body, when you get a suit fitted to your body, it makes a hell of a difference. If I could tailor everything that I have, it's costly. But he's got it. Look. And you're hosting a reunion. I wish he would get these things tailored. It seems so boxy. And it's not like he doesn't have a good shape. Look, it's not like he don't got a good shape. But I think he looks good. What would I rate it? I'm going to give it, because this is the best probably I've seen him look in a while as a reunion host, especially with the suit. I'm going to give this an 8.5. Okay, Andy. Even the shoes, Andy, I'm like, come on, you got money. And mind you, the shoes are probably expensive, but just because it's expensive doesn't mean that it looks good. Just saying. Anyways, guys, we're going to get into some more Real Housewives news. Let's talk about Mia Thornton. So you know Mia Thornton's storyline this season. You saw a little glimpse of it. We posted a video earlier talking about the specific storylines that we can expect for the ladies of the Real Housewives of Potomac this season. And apparently there is some marriage trouble in the air for Mia Thornton. And apparently she's been separated from Gordon for a few months. So let's get into our friends over at TV Deets exclusive. So according to our friends over at TV Deets, they said that Real Housewives of Potomac stars Gordon and Mia Thornton have been separated for months. They said Bravo released the explosive trailer for season 8 of the Real Housewives of Potomac just yesterday, and in it, Gordon and Mia were seen in couples counseling where she mentioned she had consulted a divorce attorney. So now sources are telling TV Deets exclusively about where things stand between the two today. They said Mia Thornton and her husband, Gordon, have been separated for months. Host Brett Staffen said on Friday, said the September 29th episode of the TV Deets podcast, this is not a new separation. They have been separated for months and are in essence living separate lives. So according to Brett, they said that I'm told their separation is amicable. Gordon doesn't necessarily want his marriage to end. I don't know if Gordon is going to be able to prevent that from happening, but it is amicable in the sense that Gordon wants to make it work and Gordon wants to get along with Mia. So TV Deets continues. They said, according to sources, Gordon has spoken with the husbands about the situation and all the housewives are now aware of their separation. The two have been married for almost 11 years and shared 2 children together, Jeremiah and Juliana. TV Deets actually teased Mia and Gordon's separation on September 22nd episode of their podcast. So here's the thing. I'm not surprised. One of the things that Mia says in this trailer that we talked about and recapped yesterday was that to Ashley, she's like, did you marry Michael for money? And she's like, no, did you? And she's like, maybe. And you know, we've been telling you that Mia and Gordon were pushed out allegedly from their chiropractic business. And I'm not sure where they are today when it comes to that, but based off of what I updated to you guys earlier today, it seems as if they're still battling with that issue. So if the money is dried up, I wouldn't be surprised that Mia was like, I'm out of here. Maybe. We shall see. I'm sure we're going to see and get a full update. Do you believe that this is a real divorce? Because one of the things that Nene even says that a lot of people are coming on these reality shows and faking it. So let's talk about this Nene interview. I just want to talk about part 2 because I did talk about part 1 on the podcast earlier this morning. So be sure to check out that episode if you haven't already. So Nene did a 2-part interview with Bethenny Frankel. As you know, Bethenny Frankel has joined up with some attorneys and sent some legal letters to Bravo about some despicable things that have happened behind the scenes when it comes to their reality TV stars. And she's been calling it the reality reckoning. You may recall that Nene leaks after she parted ways with the network, decided to sue them for racial discrimination, accusing people like Kim Zolciak getting away with a lot in comparison to her black counterparts. What's talked about in part 1, we find out like how did Nene and Kim get together and how did Nene get Kim on the show? Because according to Nene, initially Atlanta really was just supposed to be about the Black Housewives. It was actually Nene who wanted to bring Kim on because Kim, when she met her, was so ridiculous. She talked about how she saw this woman, Kim, with a wig. You could tell it was a wig. You remember Kim's wigs. You could tell they were wigs. They were much better now. And she would be on the treadmill smoking. So she was like, you guys have to meet this woman because she's utterly ridiculous. And fast forward to today. She's broke. Okay, no. So in part 2, this is where they talk more about Nene's issues with the network, her being blacklisted, her relationship with Andy Cohen. And there really is no relationship. When asked if whether or not her and Andy were ever really friends, she said no. She's like, were you coworkers or colleagues? And she was like, well, a little bit more than that. She said, I consider friends someone that I've been to their house. I've never been to Andy's house. Have we gone out and partied and drank together? Yes. So I would say we were more than just colleagues. All right. Bethenny also gave a story about how she didn't want to go to the baby shower because she felt like the baby shower was sort of like this, with the Housewives for Andy's baby shower. He said it was sort of like this weird event where you sort of had to like kiss the ring. So they really talk about when people call Andy the father of Bravo and how they hold him up in this reverence. It's a real thing. It's a real thing, especially for these housewives. So I thought it was interesting to get Nene's perspective and Bethenny's perspective on Andy. But as the interview goes on, because I've sort of been twerking on the fence when it comes to Nene and her lawsuit. A lot of what Nene said in her lawsuit, valid. I'm never going to take away from that. A lot of you like to pick and choose what I say when it comes to Nene Leakes. But I just want to point out everything that Nene has said in this lawsuit, now dismissed lawsuit, and now in mediation, valid. I always question, though, Nene's intention. And here's the thing, and this is where when Nene's interviewed, no one really goes at her in regards to, well, what exactly do you want? I have to give it to Bethenny. Bethenny goes, she's like, well, what exactly do you want from this lawsuit? And Nene is unable to really, or unwilling, I should say. I don't know if she's maybe unable or unwilling to really explain her side of things or explain what she wants from the network. She's like, do you want an apology? Do you want something monetary? I'm not getting into that. She also says she finds it ridiculous that she's been unable to work. So Bethany's like, what do you mean you haven't been able to work? Well, Bethany told a story because there have been ideas and projects that she's wanted to work on with Nene. But when she's gone to people to get those projects moving, they said, oh, we can't touch it. We can't touch it because Nene was in the middle of suing the network. But Nene saying, well, yeah, that's blacklisting. They blacklisted me. I'm not able to work. I haven't been able to work since I left the show. I started working. I did something last year, but I have not been able to work. Do I think that the industry blacklisted Nene? Yes. That's Hollywood. Does it make it right? Hell no. But there are a lot of people that are not able to get opportunities because of relationships for whatever reason. That is Hollywood. It's all about who you know. We've known this for a very long time. Does it make it right? No, not at all. But what I will say, if you sue someone and you have these accusations about them, they're not going to want to work with you. But what Nene is saying is that no one in Hollywood wanted to work with her. She felt like they were tarring her name throughout the industry. But what I said when we were covering the Carlos King interview, the more important detail here, every time Nene says, people do not want to give me anything. They don't want to give me a podcast. And I say, damn it, Nene. I hate when she brings up a podcast because she could literally start a podcast today and it would probably be the #1 podcast. But instead, you're on other people's podcasts, giving them clout and views and numbers and advertising instead of doing it for yourself. You know how many people would line up to help you put a podcast together? Like, you don't even need to know how to do one. And you're sitting on Carlos's platform telling him what he needs to do to be successful. No, tell yourself that. Sometimes you need to give yourself your own advice. You could literally start a podcast and a YouTube channel and your own show. You don't even have to do it on those platforms. You could even do it on your own website. You really should do it on your own website so you really own it. I'm tired of giving Nene advice in regards to this, but what I will say, I was kind of disappointed in part 2. Part 1, I enjoyed Nene in part 1 because I felt like, oh, wow, Bethany's not interrupting her. We're getting to know how she met Greg, how she grew up, her relationship with her family. Part 1 was great. Part 2, it was the same, no accountability on Nene's part, no real business explanation in regards to what she's asking for in this lawsuit and what she wants to do in the future. And always comparing herself. Well, and I'm not saying this. I'm not going to say that some of these other white housewives have done a lot worse than she has, and she's portrayed very differently. No, she's right. She's right. Especially when we talk about the Real Housewives of New Jersey and how we were just talking about this on Twitter, on how New Jersey has violence every season, but they're not called ghetto or hood. But we have one fight in how many seasons on Atlanta or Potomac, and it's like, oh, welcome to the hood. And mind you, most of the time, the people that are saying it look like us. And that's the thing about these arguments with people like Nene. It's like, well, no, there's some validity in what she's saying. But then it's the other side of it that you're like, well, Nene, you keep saying that you've been blacklisted. We are in a different day and age. You can start your own. When I was coming up, when I was just a songwriter, there were no real, there were independent labels. But it was a lot harder to be an artist. It was a lot harder to be a creative. We didn't have platforms like YouTube. We didn't have platforms like Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. Now people are entrepreneurs taking back their power. You could do that. You have the connections. You have an audience. You have a fan base. So I'm always disappointed when I listen to her say the same thing that she's been saying in these other interviews. And I'm not saying that what she's saying is not true. I'm not saying that she didn't have valid points in her lawsuit. But I'm still disappointed when you keep saying they blacklisted me. I want to act. There are so many. I already know there are so many independent, creative writers, directors. I know Tyler Perry probably would give Nene something. There are so many areas that Nene could do things, and she's just not. She's going on other people's podcasts, giving them clout and views and advertising dollars. No, you should have did that on your platform. So part 2 was disappointing. Part 1, I enjoyed immensely. Part 2 was disappointing because it was the same hamster wheel of the same stuff. And I hope that she gets this message in regards to just start your own. Start your own. You are funny and interesting in your own right. Start your own. Start your own podcast. Post up the video version on your YouTube channel that's already has content, already has subscribers. Start posting there. But maybe Nene wants someone to do it for her. I feel like you could get that too, though, Nene. It doesn't have to be this big podcast deal. That will come. Prove that you are still worth it. And you are. Look at the numbers that it has brought to other podcasts that you've been on. You are worth the numbers, but you have to start putting those numbers under your name only. Just saying. Guys, as always, did you listen to part 1 and part 2 of the Nene Leakes and Bethenny Frankel interview? Did you see the story on Mia Thornton? What's your thought on this separation? Do you think it's because the money has dried up? And what were your thoughts and how would you rate the Real Housewives of New York reunion looks from 1 to 10? Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll ask you, follow me, lead it.